Hello everyone, welcome to the breaking news today. In the Zaporizhia sector, FPV drone operators of the 3rd Regiment of the Special Forces repelled an attack by the occupiers. 2 of them were taken prisoner. This was reported by the Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. According to UNN, soldiers of the 3rd SSO Regiment effectively stopped the enemy assault with the help of FPV drones. They attacked an enemy buggy carrying a group of Russian soldiers. The Russians who survived and were hiding in a dugout tried to surrender, but were attacked by their own. The UAV operators successfully evacuated 2 enemies from the enemy fire and brought them to the Defense Forces stronghold. This new strategy, which began on the night of August 6, involves the deployment of hundreds of various types of strike drones, supported by artillery, to isolate the battlefield and facilitate troop advancement into enemy territory. The drone strikes target not only enemy strongholds, armored vehicles, and troop concentrations, but also logistical routes located dozens of kilometers from the front line. This approach allows Ukrainian forces to execute precise strikes on multiple fronts, support advancing troops, and prevent Russian forces from mobilizing reserves. In the first day of operations, numerous videos and photos surfaced online showing Ukrainian drones destroying Russian fuel tankers, tanks on flatbed trucks, and trucks carrying reinforcements and ammunition. Moreover, with the fluid nature of the front lines, FPV drones pose a significant threat to Russian military aviation. Together with air defense systems, these drones create a containment barrier, limiting Moscow's ability to fully leverage its air superiority. It is noteworthy that a substantial portion of these drones is funded by volunteers and private initiatives. Ukrainian citizens have been raising money for the purchase and production of these drones, highlighting the vital role of civilian support in the country's defense efforts. Amid the ongoing conflict, Ukraine is significantly ramping up its drone production capabilities. On August 6, 2024, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed that domestic manufacturers have been contracted to produce over 1 million drones this year. This move comes as part of a broader effort to enhance Ukraine's aerial capabilities and strategic impact on the war. In late 2023, Zelensky had announced Ukraine's ambitious plan to produce 1 million first-person view FPV drones in 2024, which are widely used on the battlefield. By early 2024, the country had already manufactured 200,000 FPV drones. In July, Ukraine's Ministry of Strategic Industries stated that the country has the capacity to produce up to 3 million drones annually. During his recent address, President Zelensky highlighted the government's commitment to this initiative. Our government officials from the Ministry of Strategic Industries and the Ministry of Finance also presented reports on drone production and financing. We have already contracted 1 million drones for this year, and more will follow in total within the year, he stated. In addition to the drone production contracts, Zelensky also announced increased funding for Ukraine's missile program. The country produces Neptune anti-ship missiles, which are being adapted for ground strikes, and is developing the Rim 2 ballistic missile with a range of up to 500 kilometers. The status of the Rim 2 project remains uncertain, but the development of the Coral domestic anti-air missiles is ongoing. The Ukrainian approach to drone production contrasts sharply with the current US military procurement process. George Mattis, founder and CEO of US drone manufacturer Teal Drones, argues in a recent Forbes article by David Hambling that the US can transform its military capabilities by focusing on affordable combat drones. Mattis suggests that for a fraction of the defense budget, the US could achieve high-volume production of capable and scalable drones, similar to those used by Ukraine. Mattis emphasizes that the key to achieving cost-effective production is not necessarily automation, but designing easy-to-assemble products. He highlights that Ukraine's drone fleet is built in small artisanal workshops and even at kitchen tables, demonstrating the potential for high-volume production without extensive automation. While the US military currently favors high-cost, low-volume production, Mattis believes that the success of Ukraine's agile and innovative drone strategy could serve as a catalyst for change. Ukraine's strategic investment in drone production and missile capabilities marks a significant development in modern warfare. As the country continues to bolster its aerial assets, it sets a powerful example of innovation and efficiency. The implications of this shift extend beyond Ukraine, potentially influencing global military procurement strategies and highlighting the critical role of drones in contemporary conflicts. On Tuesday, Ukraine reportedly executed its largest attack since the war began, targeting southwestern Russia, a border area with Ukraine. Analysts suggest that Ukraine, recently on the defensive on the Eastern Front, is making a significant effort to change the course of the conflict. The Russian side claimed, "We were attacked by Ukraine, but have already repelled it." According to the British Financial Times, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced at around 8 a.m. that Ukrainian forces attacked border units near the Mykolaiv-Reno and Oleshnya regions of Kursk Oblast, where Russian border guards were stationed, and the Russian army repelled them. The attack is considered one of the largest ground offensives by Ukraine, directly targeting Russian territory since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The Russian Ministry of Defense stated that Ukraine mobilized 11 tanks and 20 combat vehicles for ground combat. Reuters reported that Ukraine has periodically launched missile and drone attacks on Russia, but territorial attacks involving ground forces are very rare. Russian forces have repelled Ukrainian ground attacks, but Kursk is under massive drone and missile attacks, acting Kursk Governor Alexei Smirnov said on social media. "The situation is controllable. Let's maintain composure." Kursk authorities reported that 5 people were killed and more than 20 were injured in the attacks. Meanwhile, a well-known Russian military blogger refuted the Russian army's claim of repelling the attacks early on Wednesday. Stating that the situation in the Kursk region is still difficult and that Ukrainian forces have held their positions along the border despite concentrated counterattacks by the Russian army. Ukraine has not commented on the attacks. However, Andriy Kovalenko, head of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, wrote on social media that it is a lie that Russia can control the situation in the region. Since Russia widened its war on Ukraine in February 2022, Ukrainian and allied forces have crossed the Russia-Ukraine border for brief, showy raids, counter-invasions, if you will. The risky raids never accomplished very much except to embarrass Russian leaders, possibly until now. Yesterday, elements of at least 2 Ukrainian army brigades, apparently not including pro-Ukrainian Russian fighters, as we initially reported, exploited a gap in the defenses around the village of Sudzha in Kursk Oblast on the Russian side of Ukraine's northern border. A day later, hundreds of Ukrainian troops from at least the 22nd and 88th Mechanized Brigades, supported by artillery, drones and air defenses, have marched nearly 10 miles into southern Russia, routing local Russian forces and capturing Sudzha along with several other villages. It's an impressive feat for an army that has been on the defensive for a whole year and which has struggled to mobilize sufficient manpower to hold off relentless but costly Russian assaults all the front line in eastern Ukraine.